back once again with the Meade Truth. So happy to see you. We've got a lot of things to talk about from the election results.
The elections are over.
And it is now time to get into the mix of it.
Let's talk about some numbers and some things.
And we got Joe here tonight, so that makes it two big guys and a Steve show.
It originally was two fat guys and Steve, but that's okay.
I'm being politically correct.
Yeah. Not on our account, please.
No. Well, I don't know. After these three kids this week, I've been putting on a little bit around the.
Well, you know,
one of these days.
You always feel like you need more energy when you're dealing with kids.
Yeah.
So you're always constantly trying to feed the dragon.
Well, a plug to Jailhouse Pizza for the pizza tonight because I'm full for this evening's show. So glad to be joining you fellas. It's been a crazy week this week.
It has. We've had so much going on and so much. I mean, we worked. I say we, but the candidates and everyone worked right up until election day.
Yeah.
Man, it was awesome to see how well they worked together. And our party on Friday night, or Tuesday night. What day is it?
It's Thursday.
And our party over Robert's Family Farm on Tuesday night. We we were looking at that and just how. It's all we kept talking about is how well they work together as a team. I mean, every one of the candidates in every race, they worked with each other and for each other, and I think it showed out very, very well.
Credit goes to you, Mark.
Oh,
as the leader of the party, that's why they want to go as a team. Is some leader at some point took charge and led them. So
He's on green.
it's not working on every Sunday.
Yeah, hold on just a second. We got a technical difficulty here.
Go ahead, Mark.
I can hear you.
So yeah, there we go. There's Joe.
You're back, Joe.
Okay. Anyway, do I need to repeat that?
Yep.
Well, I just said that the party leader is the one that took charge and made that happen as far as people working together. It's not that's not normal in nature. That's because something or someone has actually put some amount of thought and effort into making that happen. Cats don't get herded by themselves. They actually have to have a herder. And so that's what our party chairman...
Are you going biblical on me like a shepherd leads the sheep? Is that what you...
Well, I didn't use sheep.
Lost shepherd, shepherd. This is little sheep.
I appreciate you saying that, Joe. But I mean, I tell you what. I mean, the fact that we had such great candidates in all races.
Well, candidates win elections, okay?
Yep.
Parties do not win elections. Candidates actually
We are just supporting them and trying to get them, the resources they need. And I think that we did that. This podcast was one of those resources. The newspapers we put out were part of those resources.
The people that we built that came forward to volunteer are volunteers.
The volunteer force was just tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, I could start with a laundry list of all of you, but it really cranked up, I think, when we got into the fair and the parade, and then it just blossomed into, Greg and Cheryl Whalen. I swear, Cheryl came in.
I just want to give Cheryl a quick hug. Can I give her a digital hug?
Give her a digital hug. Yeah, she took on she asked me, I know we had that one meeting, and then she was like, well, we can do this thing on Facebook. And I was like, yes, ma'am, we sure can. And we gave her access, and she took it on, made it happen. And then the meet and greets. Now, we didn't have a lot of turnout from them, but the postings that came from them showcasing our candidates' willingness to go out and meet the people, not to mention the pairs of boots that they all went through. I think Payless Shoe Store probably got a whole bunch of business from us. I don't know.
Telling you.
Or somebody's shoe store. Maybe Amazon shoe store. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, and you're talking about Greg and Cheryl. Mm-hmm. I mean, the party on Tuesday night. Not just them, but all the volunteers. It was such a... It was jubilation. I mean, it just shows how hard all those people worked. And when they saw the results and they were like, man, we did it. Mm-hmm. It just an explosion of excitement and fun and things. And we want to thank, first of all, everybody that voted for our candidates, right? We want to make sure that we want to also thank everyone who came out to vote. I mean, representing yourself by voting and voting, whether you voted for our candidates or a Democrat or what have you, it's a very, very important that we go out and we vote as citizens.
Yeah. So that number was shocking. over 9,500
9,682 total.
citizens made their statement at the polls.
What turnout percent is that for the county?
It is 96. Let me do the quick math.
Is it 18,000 voters?
It's 24,000. So it's still not.
Crap.
Yeah, but it's still for a midterm election to get that level of turnout. I just want to thank you for listening to our shows.
Percent. It's over 40%.
Well, I just want to say thank you for listening to our shows. If that had any influence on you getting out and voting, we are just happy because it was an important election. Just even the yes/no votes for the amendments 1 and 2, and just saying that I voted for that. Meant something. I was proud of our county on amendments 1 and 2. It showed our Christian values, but it also showed such a great divide that we have on both of these issues. Our country is really in for a long conversation about, abortion in the future, I believe.
Yeah, I look
Get
at
right
this.
into it. I just jumped right into deep water.
Yeah.
Well, I just grazed it. I didn't jump into it. I just grazed it.
You jumped.
I mean, we had 4,891 voters vote yes for Amendment 1. We had 5,009 voters in Meade County vote yes for Amendment 2. And that's those are really good numbers.
Yeah.
But we also had 4,331 that voted no for Amendment 2, and 3,922 that voted no for Amendment 1. And the undervote for Amendment 1 was, let me do the quick math.
There's a couple thousand.
It was around 10%. 10% of the voters, 9% of the voters. 9% of the voters did not even come out and vote for one of those, which is, and I think that's on us.
They came out and voted, but they didn't
them enough on it.
They couldn't make a choice. They didn't want to be responsible for one way or the other.
I disagree with Mark on that because we did something very unusual in campaigning, modern campaigning. Our candidates, when they actually had the 30-second radio ad, they were expressive about supporting 2 amendments that weren't necessarily big winners. Okay, and of course they actually were losers in the state. Okay,
sure,
overall on the night.
But we won in Meade County.
But our candidates actually were they weren't just saying vote for me. I'm from Meade for Meade. Okay, they just
that'll get you in trouble.
I know it. I don't care.
All right, go ahead.
But the truth of the matter is, our candidates actually stood on some issues, and expressed that to the public and said, you should vote the way I think you should vote this way.
Right.
And now the fact that those amendments lost and we still won, to me that talks to the fact that we still want to get out and talk to people. We want to persuade. That's our job. Our job is to persuade people. It's not always, we're not going to win every argument. The truth of the matter is the abortion issue in America. I'm not talking about Kentucky.
That's right.
I'm talking about in America. In America, you got somewhere between 65 and 75% of the people. They would like to have restrictions upon abortion because they know that it's a moral calamity. It's a ethical question. It's an issue. People don't like the fact that the government has to be involved in protecting innocent life because that's
well, I think the morality really gets disgusting, though, and I think most Americans will agree that after birth and abortion and during that trimester abortion is a little bit disgusting. But again, until we get it,
trimester.
Until we get it,
third trimester abortion is so rare. I mean, it's like
Well, I know, but still, the thought of it is disgusting.
I'm with you. Look, I'm a pro-lifer. I've made up my mind about the issue. That what I'm trying to express to you is that politically, we do not have a big majority of a ban for abortion. Our opponents, okay, they shaped the battleground very simple and easy. They said voting for if you vote in favor of Amendment 2, you're banning abortion in the state of Kentucky. It wasn't true.
Yeah,
but the fact is that's a real simple argument to make.
But that wasn't really Kentuckians saying that.
Well,
that was $9 million that was raised from outside of Kentucky into that campaign. That's what happened.
On my radio and on NPR. I listen to NPR from time to time.
I got it. But I will credit our local race runners I would honestly believe that they're probably of the same. But given the split down the line, I believe that money coming into the state made it very skeptical for a lot of folks in the decision. But I would believe that some of our opposition locally maybe not felt the same way as the advertisements coming down. You know what I mean? I feel that they were informed, and a lot of them probably were for some of those.
We did our best to inform them.
Absolutely.
About that. I mean, we worked hard overtime through the two newspapers we sent out and through our actual radio advertisement.
Yeah.
We expressed that. We tried to inform people, and we played it above board. But what I'm saying is that this is one of the issues that we got kicked on. Okay? I'm just being honest with you.
No, you're not wrong.
Kicked.
No, in the state we got kicked. But to Mark's point,
but don't say. Don't.
This is a pro-life state.
Yeah, but
it is. But it
to
is
Mark's
pro-life. It is pro-life. But we allowed the opposition. Right, we allowed the opposition
outside of the state
to come in here and dictate what we just did. We allowed them to confuse it. It was the most straightforward language you could have. It just simply said that there is no inherent right to an abortion in our Constitution.
Right.
But that's it. It doesn't say that it bans it. It doesn't say that you can't have it if it's an emergency. And never has anybody in Kentucky ever suggested that a woman's life is less important than the baby's.
That's right.
Never. That's a straight, bold-faced lie.
Right. So, and I think what Mark's going at, Joe, and no disagreement to any of your talking points, but when you have so much big money coming in from out of the state, I mean, we got outspent in our argument for what we wanted for our state. And that's the real, I think, the belly button, right? Well, listen, we're going to transition because a lot of folks are viewing right now, and I think they're waiting for us to get into the numbers and get the final results. So let's go right into the...
By the way, you're the one that brought it up.
I know. I started it off. We got it out of the way. Now we can talk about the big numbers. So if you're tuning in, we are going through the official numbers. Two big guys in the studio.
Well, these are this is the unofficial numbers. They have not been turned into the Secretary of State.
Okay. But this is what we got from the courthouse. This is from
the courthouse.
Okay, got it.
And by the way, the Secretary of State's website sucks.
Oh, well, I'll be sure to share this with the Secretary of State
I see him.
podcast.
All
right, got
this
it.
is horrible.
All right, unofficial results. So this is coming from the courthouse. All the tickets turned in from all the voting machines, not running
around. They don't
around.
even have the numbers on the website. They don't have unofficial numbers.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They didn't last night.
Yes, they did.
They did.
I will show you in a bit.
Joe, you have to get an updated computer that has Microsoft Edge, not Microsoft Explorer. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, everybody knows this. I'm just kidding.
3.1 went out a long time ago.
Yeah, just kidding.
Now, let's go.
You probably still have AOL.
I'm done with the arguing here. Let's
go. Ahead.
Let's go. 9,682 total votes, ballots, were turned in Meade County. Okay. I'm just going to go straight down the grand totals. So Republican straight ticket were 3,086. Let me make sure I got those numbers correct because that seems.
No, but if someone listening right now, give them percentages or something. Don't give them numbers.
Well, 31.87% of the total votes cast were straight Republican ticket. 9.5% were Democrat straight ticket. For a U.S. Senator, Rand Paul, 71.07%. Now, this is of the grand total, 9,682, not just of the ones that were in that race, because this includes the undervotes. Right. So if a race, if no one voted for anyone in U.S. Senator, we're showing that percentage. We're only showing the percentage of the actual ones that got votes. So 71.07% for Rand Paul, 27.6% for Charles Booker. There were write-in votes. I didn't realize this because no one, nobody really ever talked about it. But there were two write-in votes in Meade County for a Charles Lee Thomason, which is a 0.02%. Go figure that. So,
vote for Santa Claus.
For U.S. Representative, 2nd District, we're looking at Brett Guthrie. Had 73.9%, Hank Glinderman 24.2%. Nancy Tate ran unopposed for the state representative 27th district, and she pulled in 76.83%.
Mark, hold up 1 second. Lindemann and Booker, 24 and 27. Is that
27.6% and for Booker, and 24.24% for Linderman.
I'd like to know the difference to that right there. That 3% of Democrats right there. I would really love to understand why that 3% exists. Now, I understand why you would vote straight Democrat, or you would vote for Lindemann or for Booker, but I don't understand the difference.
I mean, if you take out the 920 straight Democrat, you're looking at Charles Booker had 2,752 other not 2,700, sorry, 1,752.
Right.
And Linderman had 1,427. Yeah, 1,427 votes. So it's.
I mean, both were hopeless causes, but the thing was that.
I mean.
Well, I'm being realistic.
I know you're trying to be realistic, but here's the thing: I am never going to ever call somebody hopeless because they decided to run.
Well,
we need to have people running in these races.
I don't want just Gumby to be running for a race. I will tell Gumby if he tries to get on the race that, hey, look, that's a hopeless race. You can't.
Words have meaning, Joe.
Yeah. I just don't want to say, oh, we're going to discourage people from even running ever.
I didn't. I
But
wasn't
it
trying
does.
to
When
say
you say
that.
it's hopeless, that's what you're saying.
For Mr. Lindemann to run, it's hopeless. Okay, I can talk to him. Talk to him personally.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We'll take a 10-minute break. No, I'm just kidding. We're back, guys. Keep going.
All right, I'm getting back down to these numbers here because we can come back and talk about these races and things you want to point out. Just note them and we'll come back to them.
Yeah.
Nancy Tate, I left off. I gave her numbers 76.83%. She was unopposed for the 27th district state representative. PVA, Gabe Chapman had 68.63% of the vote.
That was a fabulous night for Gabe.
Yes, Gabe did a great job. He had a great plan, stuck to it, and it pulled it through. Rebecca Richardson had 33.34%. Again, I'm giving of the total vote, so there wasn't very many. There weren't any undervotes really in that.
He beat somebody that was popular in the county. Okay, he beat her handily. That was a big deal. Am I not allowed to say that?
I got a problem with that number. No, I just got a problem with that number. I'm trying to make sure I get that right.
Well, Steve let me say it, so he didn't throw anything at me.
So let's see.
All right. So when we look at Nancy's numbers, and although she's unopposed, and I'm grateful that she's unopposed, but that just speaks to the good work she's been doing.
Well, it speaks to the strength of her candidacy.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So we're saying the same things. You're just using a bigger word than I'd like to use. But anyway, I'm just kidding, Joe. But her work on the amendments, phenomenal. I mean, she took off doing a campaign strategy solely focused on her district, which covers more than just Meade County.
Sure.
And she won that part of her part. And that just is a testament of the level of work, because she's one of those, representatives that's lead on the bills related to this stuff. So
she's chair of the pro-life caucus.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
In Frankfurt. And she works hard for that. And and like I said, even though we lost that, she's proud of. She should be proud of herself. I'm proud of her. Mm-hmm. That the fact that she led on the issue.
Do you think if we would have funneled $9 million into
money makes a difference in politics? Okay, I'm not going to lie.
Well, I won't say that's true, because I could say that we got probably outspent in this race.
We did,
but we outwalked this race.
Well, that's true too. But what I'm saying is that money always makes a difference. It doesn't. It sometimes is not decisive. It doesn't always not always decisive. I can name you a litany of political candidates that were running for president. They had money that was just raining.
No, I know.
And they still weren't successful. They couldn't resonate with the public.
Speaking of numbers, what is that new number, Mark?
I'm having a little trouble because it looks like I have a
You all can't see it, but Mark's got a big spreadsheet in front.
Yeah, and so I'm looking. Yeah, it's the problem I'm having is the numbers don't seem to add up. So I'm trying to
He's doing
see
the
what
math wrong.
I'm just trying to see where I may have made a mistake. But I don't
So what I will say,
You tracking the undervote?
I know that if Troy was on here, he would tell you all thank you. I think everybody, if they were on here right now, they'd tell you thank you for your vote.
Yes.
They'd also tell you thank you, even if you didn't get their vote, they'd tell you thank you because their work is not just for the people who voted yes. Their work is for also those of you who may not have voted yes. And I'm excited to see how that transition goes. For Troy into the office and the rest of them that are stepping into office, and for those that step away, so that it's done with dignity and respect. To that end, Rebecca Richardson's done many years of service in that office, and I know that Gabe will treat that with dignity. I know Troy will do the same for Judge Stith as he steps out, and then Trey Webb for that district and that situation as well. I mean, it was a good year for the Republican Party, and to make it even better is to finish it off right and make sure that the transition goes smoothly for incumbent and outgoing. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I had a typo in there. I actually had a few more. I had a little bit more higher. I had too high of a number for Gabe. So the actual number is 65.53% for Gabe and 33.34%. There was about a 2%, a little less than 2% undervote in that race. Mm-hmm. Moving on to Troy Koch's race. Troy had 56.9%. Huge. It is almost 60% of the vote. I mean, 57% of the vote. Leslie Stith had 39.23%. And if you're doing the math, you realize that somewhere along the line there was another 2.84% or so. And
now some of those
that
votes,
I kind of believed, something that I didn't. I found it a little hard to believe that Sean Holzapfel actually ended up with 2.84%. So,
right. So the independent voters went after him, but that is clearly an uninformed voter because he technically, although we just didn't argue and neither did.
We never brought it up or anything.
We could have easily went to the circuit court to have him removed because he's a convicted felon and you're not eligible to run for this office if you are currently. Unless you have a governor's thing, but he's got a pending case against.
Yeah, I mean he's got. I mean, my understanding he had. There was some things going on right now.
It's actually it was in the paper when they
I think the Messenger covered it about a week or two ago.
Nope, I'll give credit to Chad Hobbs. He actually blasted him on the left-hand side of that pink page and said, "This is not the droid you're looking for." I mean, he did a great job highlighting that so he could keep Meade County informed, and I thought that was a brilliant job he did because I guess everybody didn't get that, but I know they did. The paper went to great lengths to make sure it went to every door, especially for that specific publishing.
Issue,
but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Sidney Durham ran unopposed, 81.11%. Susan Masterson in the county clerk's office for the county clerk's race, 66.52%.
See, when you said 81% for Sidney, though, what does that mean?
That means 81% of the voters actually took the time and
check the block.
And
keep in mind with 3,000...
920 people didn't...
Yeah.
10% of the people didn't.
Keep in mind that with the straight party ticket, she gets the auto vote, too. Yeah. So that means that's how many votes she got.
Yeah, but the straight Democratic Party, basically the 19% is what she didn't get, right? Okay.
The Democrat Party was 9.5%. So
you're talking about
there were.
Right.
So if you look at that number, if you look at the number, she had 81.11%. 9.5% of the Democrat straight tickets obviously didn't go to Sidney because she's a Republican,
right?
And so that means there was another 9% undervote in hers, where people just chose not to vote for her.
Yeah.
But that's not unheard of,
right? No, it's not.
It's pretty regular. Susan Masterson again, 66.52%. Kathy Arnold, 32.18%. So great job, Susan. Another great, really great game plan there.
I'm really proud of Susan. I got to tell you a quick story because this was something that happened to me on Facebook last week or the week before. I had somebody locally strong Republican, and they came up and they messaged me. It didn't happen in public. And they said, I just can't support Susan Masterson. And can you tell me more about it? And I said, well, yeah, I'm going to tell you something about Susan Masterson. And I went and I told her, I just gave him my story. And I said, this is somebody who was a young woman. She made a mistake. She paid for it. She raised a family, worked hard.
The party scrutinized it.
Well, no, I'm going way back.
Keep going.
I walked the dog from the very beginning. I said, look, she ran for clerk. She actually won the position. A judge said, guess what? You did not check all your check the blocks and everything because you were ineligible to run. So you shouldn't have ran, and you can't serve. So now most people would have given up. Well, most people wouldn't even have gotten that far.
That's right.
But Susan's not most people. She said, well, she went and got her pardon. She checked the block like she needed to make sure she was cleared to go, and then she came back. She changed parties, and she said my values line up more with the Republicans than the Democrats. So even though I've been a Democrat the whole time I've worked in the clerk's office, I'm going to become a Republican. So she did, and she continued to work. She showed up, and she didn't get down by all this. A lot of people would, like I said, would have quit, but she didn't quit. She kept coming, and then she decided I'm gonna run again, and then of course, a part of the Republican Party actually put her through the ringer again, even after she was cleared, and she kept on going, and so I can't tell you. Like I told this person on Facebook, I can't tell you how much I'm proud to vote for her.
Yeah. All right, let's run this back real quick. Mark, I want you to go back to the top. The chat's wanting to know the total numbers. So what we have from the unofficial, from the tickets, right?
Yeah, so 9,682 total tickets or ballots were submitted. And Republican straight ticket were 3,086. And Democrat 920. These are unofficial. This is me going through each sheet and typing them in. So I found a typo in Gabe Chapman's numbers, and I'm trying to go back and figure out what I did there.
So then I'm tracking Rand Paul was 6,881 and Charles Booker was 2,672. Is that
That's
right?
what I have. Yeah.
Okay. And then we had the U.S. representatives.
71. Brett Guthrie 7,156. Hank Linderman 2,347. Nancy Tate, unopposed, had 7,439. Gabe Chapman, 6,345. That's my corrected number. And 3,228 for Rebecca Richardson. Troy Koch had 5,509. Leslie Stith, 3,798.
And as we were just talking off of his, we said 189 went to Holzapfel. Is that what you got?
Yeah. So
So now we're back to, I think the next race was the sheriff's race.
The sheriff's race was.
So we'll go.
No, Susan Masterson.
That's right. Susan Masterson. Sorry.
6,440 to Kathy Arnold's 3,116.
And that was a percentage of what?
66.52% to 32.18%.
Okay. And then you take it from there. Let's include the numbers for the chat.
Philip Wimpy, 7,242, so 7,242, which is 74.8%. Danny Canal had 2,345, which is 24.22%. J.J. Scarborough, William Billy Adams, and Timothy Smith all ran unopposed, so I'm going to skip by those. Let's see.
Interesting, though, that they did not get the full 9,000 votes. That people just didn't check the block.
They didn't. I mean, no, it's
need to check the block. That's what
so I mean, you figure
routinely in the past, I never was a straight party ticket.
Most of the time, I said it every time we talked about it on the show. This is something I don't usually do, even as the party chair. I don't usually go out and say,
vote straight party ticket.
Vote straight party ticket. But
past,
this time, I felt it was very important. One, we had great candidates.
In the past, when I voted, I didn't.
That's
vote
right, Mark.
I didn't vote for unopposed candidates. For candidates that's not opposed, I didn't vote for them. They don't need my vote. So I skipped the line. I skipped it.
You skipped.
I skipped it and went to the next competitive race.
But to Mark's point, though, this was a tremendous rack and stack of talent going for office for the GOP. I mean,
so I felt confident in doing that, and at the same time, we know that that's going to, that's something that people pay attention to when you go up when you as you go up, you go to Frankfurt, go
Yeah.
to the U.S. To the federal.
Yeah.
And they look at they start looking at these numbers. They don't look at it today. They're not going to announce tomorrow and say, "Oh, look at Meade County down there." But we weren't the only ones doing it.
No, I know
We were trying to do this across the board. So the more we had, the better off we were, and the more we sent the message. So Meade County did their part in sending the message.
But to Joe's point, for somebody that doesn't typically vote straight party ticket and they start picking the ones that they've done their homework on, when you do get down to the ones that, are just unopposed, is whatever. You could blow right by it. And I can see your point too, Joe. I just want to make that clear. But so after we get past those, then we get into the magistrates. So how do we do in the magistrate
So
rate?
in the magistrate first district, Tom Goddard, 583. Joseph Noon, 208.
That's a 65-35 race.
Yeah, and I know Tom was worried at one point in that race, but I'm glad to see such a gap. I think we did a lot of great messaging. Tom has a tremendous record. And his opposition is the current mayor of Muldra. And honestly, I'm actually kind of disappointed in his performance as the mayor because there's been numerous opportunities to improve that community through Tom that were just turned away. Yeah. All right. So who's the second district?
I just wanted to put something
Eli
up here.
Dix is running
Eli Dix running unopposed, and he had. Eli had 1,482 is what I have here. Billy Sipes in District 3. Magistrate was 1,195 for Billy and 466 for Charlie Brown. Gary Chapman ran unopposed had 1,251. Steve
Another
Wardrop.
nail biter.
Steve Wardrop had 5th District Magistrate also unopposed, 1,312. 6th District Magistrate Trey Webb, 1,225, and Randall Hardesty, 791. So that was another.
Wait, what? So give me those numbers on Hardesty.
I had 791 for Hardesty.
So in the paper, they put 435 for Hardesty and 654 for Trey Webb.
Maybe let me look.
That sounds close.
Mm-hmm.
So I have by precinct. I had 229. Let's see. Yeah, 229, 183, 317. This could be a typo here. That might be where it is. And 216 for F104 and 280 for F105. So I can check those numbers again and see, but it's going to take me a few minutes to do that.
No, that's all right. But when we go into, so first of all, a couple of announcements about this programming. It's all volunteer.
Yeah.
And
what you have is
we're
what you see.
we're an unpaid provider. But truthfully, we're all elected into the party with offices for the party. So what we're communicating to you is the information that we have, to the best of our knowledge and to the best of our ability. I
wouldn't say it's the best of our ability.
No, it's just the computer is limiting us right now.
Well, what it is that I couldn't get these numbers until like 3 o'clock this afternoon, and then I had to go in and actually take pictures of them and then type them out.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
And then I had to go home and type them in before we got in
Secretary
here.
of State's website's good to go. Huh?
And what I said was this is
It
all
doesn't have the
volunteer.
undervote.
Like I said, Mark,
It has everything but the undervote.
That's
why I wanted to go get these numbers.
this is all volunteer. So just like Mark's day, he has a day job. I have a day job.
Yeah,
So-
I got a day job.
Joe has.
My wife says I'm unemployed. but
First
I mean,
of all, and Joe, big shout out. Thank you
All
so
right.
much for helping me.
So I'm going to give you these numbers real quick. You got
Go
a
ahead.
pencil? You got a pencil or something over there? You can
Yeah,
write
go
them down.
ahead. Mhm.
So all right. So for Trey Webb, this is for F105. He had 833 and 239. That's 8 for absentee, 33 for early voting, and 239 for on election day.
Okay, you
That's
gave
just
me-
for F105.
All right, hold on. 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
you guys are adding numbers. The race is over, man. The election happened 2 days
Well,
ago.
I mean,
280. Go
Trey
ahead.
Webb won.
What's the next? What's the next machine?
all right. Well, Randall Hardesty had 625 and 134. Just write them down. We'll compare them to my numbers.
Yeah,
after
but
we
you're
get done.
giving me 625, and I'm writing down 625.
25.
So it's
625.
25, 134. There's
it.
3 different numbers I'm
I
going to
got
give
it.
you for each one of these.
9. That's.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So the next one was F104.
Oh God.
And it was 8.
You challenged us.
31 and 177.
Mm-hmm.
And then Randall Hardesty, 9, 30, and 95.
All right, hold on. A little quick math.
You're putting everybody.
Now we got 2 more. We got 3 more to go.
I know. I've got to do quick math. Just give me.
Quick math. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's 743 and 267. The paper had it wrong on the front. I'm sorry. They made a mistake because that's already over.
Well, they have what they have from Tuesday because they didn't get the results that came in.
Yeah,
today,
they probably didn't. Yeah, they probably didn't get the other
tickets that came in.
The other tickets, they only added up 3 rows, something like that, because there's 5 rows in this one. It's the only one that has 5, or 5 precincts. So,
all right.
Yeah, so
All right, that makes sense.
433 and 144, and then the last one is I was pretty sure these were right. But once I made the mistake on Gabe's, that's when I was like, well, I got to figure that out now. So maybe I'm wrong, but that one was right. So okay. So
let's announce that one more time for our viewers. So the new numbers for Randall Hardesty and Trey Webb are.
I had Trey Webb 1,225 to Randall Hardesty's 791.
Okay.
That was the grand
That's
total.
1,900 to 2,000 voters right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
which I was really actually when those numbers came in, they seemed a lot larger than even like Billy Sipes's region. Just the sheer numbers, he's Flaherty, and even in Trey Webb's area, it's a large farming sector, right? But then you look at the first district. I live in first district, and I see a lot of homes.
Well, that's going to be Mark's homework assignment. He's going to give us the turnout percentages by precinct.
Oh, there.
I have that here too.
So we can figure out which precincts turned out.
A101 had 445, A102 365, B101 660.
How many registered voters are in each district?
I have that as well, but I just don't have it in this.
Right. What I'm saying is
we'll do that on another episode.
Exactly. We'll say it.
Well, don't bring it up if you don't want me to do it right here.
Well, you can't do it right here because we don't have time.
Well, don't bring it up.
We got to wake people back up, man.
Listen.
Wake up.
Wake up.
All right. Well, those were the races, and
Mark, you did a fine job.
So
we took a lot of flack during this time, though. No, look up. Put the computer down. Let's have a conversation.
Who gave him flack?
Listen, no, we put this together. Started in the basement. It went to the Monday meetings, gathering the forces. Educating. We spent a lot of time doing a lot of work, and we took a lot of flack. I mean, at one point, you were called a liar, right? We were just telling the truth about a lot of things. I got probably a little bit overboard, I think, last weekend. And I'm sorry. But we already knew what your vote was going to be. But it's all good, right? At the end of the day, the election is over. But when we go back and we look at all the work that we did building up to it, between how we thought we were going to go communicate with folks, what the candidates really wanted to do, and then the proof that they gave to do that. I look at all of those things and I'm thinking we have done a lot of work.
We have, but we pulled all the candidates. They worked their tails off. They worked their all the volunteers and stuff. So it doesn't the numbers are the numbers, whatever they are. I mean, the gist of it is that hey, we came out on top. We won this race. All of our candidates won these races. Now we're moving on to 2023. It's time we have to pick a governor's candidate, and that's coming up in May.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time meeting those.
Yeah, and so there's so many of them. But we're trying to fundraisers. We're trying to get them to come up. We're trying to get them to come for our Christmas party on December 15th. So if we can get them up to to talk about their candidacy and to kind of let us meet them.
If we keep getting the turnout of voters we get, we could have our own fancy farm right here in Meade County.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
That would be super cool. Maybe we can get that going. I don't know, but I enjoyed Fancy Farm, and I enjoyed the turnout of Meade County this year, and I feel honored to have been a part of this whole process. And you watch it from afar your entire time when you're in. Excuse me. You don't get a voice like I've had for the last year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you learn how to use your voice. Sometimes it gets you in trouble, but you learn how to use your voice.
We've got to move on. Right, we're in the middle of when you're in the middle of a campaign, things get said, things get done. Mm-hmm. People take things the wrong way, and
people
that happens.
Purposely take things the wrong way.
Well, I mean, we take it. I mean, it's like this. Our feelings got hurt. Other people's feelings get hurt, and that's okay. It's just part of it. And we try really hard not to just react and put it out there on the air and stuff.
Sure.
But, it's time to move on, right? And I think everybody is, and I think you've said, that hey, you think you went overboard. It's it, right? So we shouldn't have to go through. I think we'd give a lot of praise out to people that don't always throw us a lot of praise,
right?
And that's okay. I'm not gonna get into the names and all that stuff. All I want to do is, look to 2023. We're gonna start campaigning for our candidates. We're gonna start looking for a governor candidate. We're also gonna have to have Daniel Cameron's running for governor, so he can't run for Attorney General. Allison Ball is termed out, so I think she's moving over to run for auditor.
Yep.
Because Mike Harmon, who's running for governor, is also termed out. So as auditor, both have done excellent jobs in their roles.
Harmon's he's a good guy.
He is. He's a great guy. He's the guy that comes down here all the time.
Mm-hmm. He served with Jerry Lynn in the legislature. Jerry invited him a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's almost 15, 18 years ago. And he's
I mean, he came up to the fair. We didn't get to have him on the podcast because we shut the podcast down the day before.
Yeah.
That was my fault. I didn't realize we were shutting it down. I thought, and so I didn't coordinate it quite right. And so when we decided not to do it on Saturday, I should have let Mike know. So that's my fault, Mike. If you're out there listening, I appreciate it.
We owe you one, buddy. We'll get you out.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get you on here. But it was really great that he wanted to come on. He wanted to come down here in person and do it.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to do more of this. I think I saw a lot of activity this year from this. I think I know we were talking the other day about ARIS has done a lot of work on the young Republican side and potentially getting her own show doing this, from time to time, so we can get her and that youthful voice that they have a voice. They just sometimes get shut down and they don't have an outlet. And I think we have the means to provide them that outlet. So, but
yeah, we're
Mark
definitely going to give her support. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we've always wanted to do. And now that we've got a couple of young Republicans that want to come out and they want to work for the party, to build the party and reach that next generation, we're going to support that. We're going to give them some money. We're going to build them a platform.
That's right.
And we're going to support them along the way. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do as a party. And that helps not just build new candidates, but it also helps build the party for the future. So
absolutely,
yeah.
So Mark, what if you were to take one extract? What would be one word you would describe that describes this year in a nutshell? If you could come up with one word,
I think I don't know if there's one word, but I've got two or three here. So I think it's turned the corner. Right, I think that the party in Meade County has turned the corner. Mm-hmm. We are, we're well established. We've got great volunteers. We've got great workers. We've got, I think, a really good committee. Mm-hmm. And I think that showed out in the party. It showed out in our candidates. It showed out in our volunteerism. It showed out in the products that we put out to communicate in our communications. Mm-hmm. And that goes to you and Joe and Nancy Lynn and Ruth Goddard.
Oh, Ruth,
Nancy Tate she was a godsend all through this. And, she didn't have a race, but she was here side by side, working for the amendments, working for our candidates.
Working the fields.
She was out actually going door to door for Tom up in Muldrow, and the thing is that we didn't take anything for granted. Yeah, we knew that our numbers had gone Republican for a couple years now. I mean, we've been there and we've been building and building, and so. And we knew our opposition was trying to say, "Hey, you shouldn't vote just straight party, right? Because it doesn't matter locally." And I think we proved our message. It does matter.
Sure.
It absolutely matters, because if you've gone and looked at the platforms and you've decided, you've made that decision that that the Republican Party is the party you want to associate with, it makes no sense to turn back and say, I've become Republican, but I'm going to pick a few Democrats.
Now, I'll say something to that. You're absolutely right. And I know we did great work to make sure we got the right candidates. And I know if you voted that straight party ticket, we have a lot of work to do to prove it to you. And I guarantee you these candidates are going to go out of their way to prove it to you that straight party ticket vote was not in vain.
That's right.
And I swear by it. I mean, we worked really hard to make sure that you got the right candidates. They spent a lot of time out there communicating with the people, listening to what the real needs of the people are, and I'm excited about the future of Meade County. I'm excited to see what 2025 looks like, and 2030 looks like with the work that can be done by.
I may not look at today. I may not look at today, but I've been ecstatic since Tuesday night.
Yeah,
but I'm tired.
Yeah,
it's too. Like we've had a long haul, and we maybe we shouldn't have done one this week, but because it was a little bit tougher to get prepared for it, because a lot of our lives have gone back to whatever quote unquote normal is, because of back with work and trying to catch up on some sleep and things like that. But I think it was important for us to come out today and put together a show. And I wanted to walk through the numbers. I would have been better prepared tomorrow, because I didn't get the numbers until this afternoon. But I wanted to get the.
I think you did a great job. I
know I have one mistake, and I got to go figure out where that was, but I'll figure that out, and then I'll post them on the web or something like that.
I will tell you, I'm interested in Joe's number. I'd like to know by district. I understand it's a precinct, but I'd like to know by district, because we have captains for each of the districts, and I'd like to know.
We have actually precincts down to the precinct level.
Precinct, but I know, but I went to. There's 3 precincts to probably vote for Tom. Right?
2.
Right.
Or 2. But in his district, how many voters voting at both of those precincts?
Yeah, we're going to break those numbers down. We're going to have a debrief with on Monday with the candidates in our group and stuff, and those that want to participate, and just kind of talk through, hey, what worked, what didn't work. And we'll be able to go through those numbers, ourselves. And
so, will we have our final party meeting here in this building before December, or
we're not going to have right now. We're not going to have a party meeting in a regular party meeting, I should say, in November or December.
Because we have
a
our
regular
Christmas
meeting
party
until after the New Year. So January will be our first regular meeting, but we will have our Christmas party on December 15th.
At the venue.
At the venue, that's right.
And we'll
from
still
6
be
to
live on the
8:30.
podcast, right?
Yeah, we'll do the podcast, especially if we get the governors. We'll definitely put those out. But maybe it depends on ticket sales, right? We don't want to.
Well, we need to work on ticket
If you want to come
sales.
if you want to come out and see the governors, then you need the governor candidate.
$5,000 a couple.
No, it is not that much.
Not.
Oh my gosh, Joe!
Joe, you're going to get us in trouble.
I'm telling
We're
you.
not going to have anybody show up because Joe said that. I know we only have about 40, 50 people maybe listening, but come on. The word gets around in this town.
Well, I think what's interesting that we do, because we do this program, it is about getting. We'll get a showing. I mean, if you're interested in meeting the potential next governor of the state of Kentucky, they are very interested in what we are doing here in Meade County.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you need to come, and you need to see them in person, because I've met every one of them. I personally had a personal conversation with every one of them, and it's very intriguing how each one of them respond to make your own mind up. You need to do that versus not just watching them talk and give a speech. And they all did a great job at Fancy Farm. It's hard to take enough from that, but your chance to have a physical interaction is at our Christmas party. You might be able to get to see this here, but it's no different than watching a commercial than it would be for your opportunity to grip and grin. And I think we should have a huge ticket sales for that.
I mean, we're going to have, probably 250 tickets available, and we will have those available. You can go ahead and reserve now if you want to call in and reserve those, 270-945-3418. We don't have the live line tonight. It's I've already I took it.
Leave a message.
I took the phone back to my house to go through and see who all needed rides and things like that. But we didn't have any. But
one more point too. Even if you're not a Republican and you're a Democrat and you voted Republican this year because you like who you chose, and you're really thinking about the platform for governor, you should come. You can come to the Christmas party. You can buy a ticket. We'll welcome you with open arms. You should come and meet them.
Social event, yeah.
Absolutely, regardless of your stance.
Now we'll probably have a voter registration card there for you, though.
That absolutely, and we'll even give you a blue table so everybody knows that you're not a Republican, so you can get
sit with Joe.
You'll get greeted just like a new person at the church will every time. I promise. Anyway, but no, we won't pick on you like that.
Will happen.
We'll be glad to welcome you, especially for the opportunity for you to meet a governor candidate for the state of Kentucky, because they serve the people, not just the Republican people or the Democratic people or the independent people. They serve the people. And so I think we should have a large turnout if we're going to get them to come.
Yeah, I mean that's the point, right? We want to make sure that we get. I would like to have 250 people there. I'd like to fill out and.
I'd like to max it out at 500.
Well, there's no way to put 500 people in there.
We can sit outside
in December. That's the.
They're going to put tarps down around that outside patio and a space heater in there.
Steve's bad. He's bad.
He's
got an answer. He's got an answer.
I will help them add on for the Republican. We're going to start calling that building the venue, the Republican venue. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
don't
teasing.
Do that to
no,
them.
I'm not. I wouldn't do it. They have been tremendous, though.
They've been great. I mean, we rent from them, but they've been a tremendous host and allow us to rent from them, and they Ben does a really great job, and so December 15th is going to be our Christmas dinner. We are not having a meeting in November, or a regular meeting in November or December, but we will have one starting in January. So I got a little bit of echo coming back here.
Good.
So anyhow,
I got one more thing. You closing down on me, man?
Yeah.
Listen, before we move on to the future, I mean, politics is about future. It always is. But I wanted to do a couple of shouts out to some people. I mean, Kirk, one of his attributes that he assigns to conservatives, we stand on the shoulders of people in the past that came before us to put us in a position where we are now. And I'd like to mention Teresa Paget. I'd like to mention Nita Allen. When 25 years ago when I came to the community, there really wasn't much of a Republican Party. It basically was them two, and they worked and they worked and they worked. And we finally got around to discovering this guy named Jerry Lynn. Mm-hmm. And Jerry Lynn was the key, the linchpin that got us from there to here. He was the key right in the middle right there.
And Nancy Lynn was so proud on Tuesday night.
She was.
He won, and no one thought Republicans could win races. At the time, we had one elected Republican in the history
Jerry was
of the
really
county.
the first. I mean, there were others that won some smaller races.
One race. There was only one. It was Ken Allen. He had won a magistrate race. I mean, there was no Republicans. They didn't exist, okay? Since 1823.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Joe. Go ahead.
But I'm saying to you that Jerry Lynn allowed the county to understand that the Republican Party can field effective, reasonable people to lead the county government, and he did.
So I agree 100%. So, guys, we want to get out. We're going to get off here tonight, but thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for all the support you've given us. We're going to be back here again next week, and we're going to just continue to push and educate. That's our number one goal, is to educate.
Persuade.
People.
Final thought, a lot of work went into this year. We couldn't have done it without you, the listeners and the followers and the people that have shared, posted, liked, and just really got involved. And I can't think of a better thing to be a part of than your being involved in your local county. Good, bad, or indifferent. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, everyone.